Okay, the next video. So Infinity War is basically explosion. It's I don't know what the story is outside of Thanos' arc because the movie doesn't give a shit. Neither do the directors of the film give a shit. Oh, and one of the Avengers have a story. Thor's out for revenge for killing his best friend. That wasn't obvious in the past film because they barely had any interactions. But yet we're supposed to say, expect that this is his best friend. That's because this version of the Avengers, this version take on Thor, and this movie says so. Thanos wants to bring balance into the universe by killing half of all the living creatures in the universe, in one universe. And he succeeds, but Thor didn't go for the head, he went for his chest. And so, Thanos, Manos, lives the line, you should have gone ahead, and snaps his fingers and succeeds. Snaps fingers and succeeds, blah, blah, blah. And on a cliffhanger of half of civilization, half of the universe, all living creatures dying, including half of the Avengers, more than half of the Avengers died, and Captain America was like, oh my god. Was just, anyway, the Avengers regroup, and after the end credits of the Captain Marvel movie, and Captain Marvel decides to lend her blandness of an overpowered human being. With some bland acting skills, could only be captured by yours truly, Brie Larson. Who cares? And then he's on that cliffhanger. Next Fury in the Avengers Infinity War at the end credits page, Captain Marvel received the stress call and regrouped with the Avengers. And asked, who are you? What's Fury? And they don't know who she is, Fury never said anything, and it's like a cliffhanger, blah blah blah. Who cares? And then Endgame comes. The only reason why Captain Marvel was made and Infinity War was made, so that Endgame could be made. Made by the same writers and directors that made both Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame in the same year, because they shot them at the same time. Even though it's obvious that Endgame was just the real thing, what the really put effort in, and Infinity was just the filler. So without any of the fun, it's just the worst of the Avengers film, Avengers Infinity War. I'm giving that a 5 out of 10. So it's mediocre and average at best, just like the first Avengers film. That's probably why everyone loved it, because it captured the nostalgic articles. While they were having nostalgic all on, and instead of having something new and complex and deep and fun and unique, they decided to have more of the same shit that was recaptured, except told from a villain's point of view and one of the Avengers' point of view in Infinity War. Now, after the Avengers of Infinity War, here comes Endgame. What's left of the Avengers go to kill Thanos, and will interrogate him, then kind of kill him. But then he finds out that he confesses he destroyed the thing, and nearly killed him, blah blah blah. Thanos gets decapitated by Thor, and 5 years later, Thor is a depressed drunk and a fatty. While the Avengers are still grieving, and the only one that wants to continue doing the Avengers sick and the heroes sick is Black Widow. Even Captain America wants to give up on the whole shit, on the whole hero thing. And so does everyone else, and Black was the one that's keeping pushing everyone forward to not give up, and saying there's still hope, and blah blah blah. And Thor has just been, as I'm the king of Asgard, on Earth, and a bum, and a fucking depressed drunk that has kind of given up his hero ways and for the favor of just living in denial that he failed. And for the power of booze. And then he gets recruited, was bribing Bear into his way by this talking raccoon called Rock Raccoon, bribing Bear to throw in he's in, and wants to ask what kind it is, and then they all regroup to Avengers headquarters, and Tony Stark, surprise, figure out the equation, the equation for time travel, and figure out what's the problem and the solution. Well, the Avengers, without Tony's help, failed miserably and turning Scott Lang Ant-Man into a baby, and also into a woman, back into his regular age again, and also into a minor. As in a kid, not a baby, but first he was kid, then he was a baby, then he was old man, then he was himself again, the age he was before he time jumped. So, yeah. And Bruce Banner is now a punchline. And it gets better. Every scene in this film that's important storytelling outside of Thor himself act is played for fucking laughs. Oh, and I love how Hulk Deleuze is now this hybrid of Bruce Banner, wimpy, whiny Bruce Banner, and brave, heroic Hulk with severe anger issues, as if he doesn't have any of the anger issues or does any smashing in this film. He's just Bruce Banner and the Hulk's body, and he delivers like time travel. It's a comedy hour. Oh, it just cracks me up every time, but also killing me every time inside. But it's just anyway. After Tony survives to save the day and gives the Avengers the blah 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 time solution and does a time jump test with Hawkeye. Hawkeye almost reunites with his family, blah blah blah, and it's actually played for straight, surprisingly. Then once he goes back to the president, it's played much more for laughs. He's not showing, he just like says, it works! By not grieving, he skips the grieving and says it works. There's this, because why would we want to give a shit in an Avengers movie? That's not what the Avengers is. It's just entertainment to turn off our retarded brains and see flashy colors that look grim and depressing, with crappy CGI and mediocre acting, with a mediocre story epic, was actually so occasionally good acting thrown in the mix. What's good just for event and storytelling, but they often point out just those was the most marketable route. So the plan is to go back in several time periods and get the Infinities, each 6 of these succeeds. Black Widow makes a sacrifice after being Hawkeye to the punch. It's played completely straight, and Hawkeye grieving over Black's best friend, blah blah blah, but who cares? We need more comedy! So, Captain America and Tony Stark go back and further in time after the planet goes south by getting the one Infinity Stone. Because the other Avengers from the past interfere, blah blah blah. So, the past interferes by singing Captain America, by singing Captain America and Tony Stark look like strange, suspicious people. And Tony runs into his father, and gets the Infinity Stone that's been hid and locked up. And Captain America almost reunites with Peggy Carter by feeling nostalgic and horny and blah blah blah. Luckily, nothing goes wrong. Tony makes peace with his father. Then they'll come back to President and make an Infinity Gauntlet out of the Iron Man tech and put the Infinity Stones in the right place and made up the Iron Man Gauntlet. Then something goes wrong. You see, during when the whole time traveling shit was happening, Gamora, who's now turned good, gets kidnapped by past Nebula. No, Nebula gets kidnapped by past Nebula, and gets kidnapped by past Thanos. So, and Gamora got killed off in Infinity War, so she now reunites with Gamora, and now she turns good and blah blah blah. Doesn't get snapped away, even though she should, because Iron Man snaps all of Thanos' army from the past, and Gamora is part of that army, but he didn't got snapped. And the lead scene is revealed she got not snapped, and she was in the wake and funeral, and they got snapped. Iron Man's wake and funeral because he got killed off by making a heroic sacrifice, blah blah blah. Oh. No. After Tony delivered the epic line of saying an all-shoe superhero name called I am Iron Man, was smiling and snaps and dies. And he now has a daughter besides Mary, so every Avenger and everyone had the world's dream all lost Tony Stark, and I don't care. This is too much to digest in one fucking 3 hour and 3 minute movie. That's how long it is. And you pulled in it's so, and the third act, once Iron Man died, and yes, conflict was over-explained, it was unexplained over amount of storytelling. After Iron Man kills himself, to make a hero sacrifice to save the world, and to save the rest of humanity as the Hulk. Or should we say Bruce Banner, because he's not the Hulk, he is the Hulk, but he's not the Hulk. And Bruce Banner, the Hulk's body, bring back more than half everybody home, except Black Widow, because he tried, but couldn't succeed. He made that in while they were burying Tony's body and corpse after he buried him, after the Green Avengers grieved, blah blah blah. Yeah, Black Widow didn't got a funeral awake, blah, 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 who cares? She's not important to the story. She's not important to the Avenger. She's just a fucking sidekick and a woman. Who fucking cares? It's not like she did anything important to the plot like Iron Man, because Iron Man's Jesus. He's our Jesus of the MCU. Fuck Iron Man. Oh, this is so exhausting. How do people review this without getting sweaty? This Endgame movie. So, Cap returns every time Storm to the plate, but he doesn't come back because he decides to spend the rest of his what's left of his life with Paycon, and comes back as an old man. Not for time travel, but for age. After spending many years with Paycon, and living happily life was because he couldn't get over his life with Paycon like he did in Civil War, because he had a new love of his life in Civil War that was related to Paycon. That was Paycon's niece. But he completely forgot about his new girlfriend in Endgame. So who cares? So that goes for nothing. I mean, it's Civil War for nothing, because not like it was important and showed anything important to change the character growth. Oh, I hate this. So that's that. And I feel like this story is very. I feel like we skip half more than half storytelling this movie, but who cares? It made money with a sort of heartwarming ending and sort of confusing ending, but that's the movie in a nutshell, as well as every Avengers up to except for Age of Ultron in a nutshell, including Captain America Civil War. That is also Avengers film. It's in a nutshell. That's the nutshell of the formula of the Avengers film. Be confused, feel emotions, don't make sense of it. Of it as a standalone film, or as more connected part of the MCU, because who fucking cares? Endgame gets a floppy. I don't know. I say, screw it. I mean, the fact that it's this long is absolutely absurd. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It would be absolutely mediocre at best and average at best for making it not only that, it is the most haunting, ugliest pure evil looking out of any MCU's Avengers film. Not just the Avengers film, though those are the most ugly looking out of the franchise in the MCU. This is absolutely haunting and nightmare feeling looking. What person would want to look at this, let alone a young child? No one was in their goddamn right minds. Of course, most of the humanity has lost their fucking marbles. And stupid. Fallen stupid and fallen lost their damn marbles and crazy. By singing because we don't know that. How can you not know that Endgame is an ugly looking film, or any film in the MCU is ugly looking since 2008? And far from being the best looking, Travel's not ugly looking, but it's still not good as it could look. Still good looking film. It's not as good as it could look. They're still, once the far from came out, getting hope for the future, blah blah, for making the films not all haunting looking. But when I first saw Endgame, it concerned me that that they made the most ugly looking Marvel film. They chose to do this. And yeah, that's every MCU Avengers, and why I'm fucking tired of them. Now I just have to label both part 1 and part 2 of me reviewing these Avengers movies, and yeah, I think these Avengers, MCU's Avengers. I'm tired, I'm sweaty, I'm exhausted, I'm having heart palpitations. I'm surprised I haven't had a heart attack during either one of these part 2 videos, part 1 or part 2, or collapse from exhaustion, because holy fuck, each Avengers movie gets more confusing once it gets to the third act. Like, there's too much to this, especially Endgame is the most convoluted at the third act structure after Iron Man commits suicide by being a heroic asshole. Because he is a heroic asshole. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of the Avengers, of MCU's. Wrong, the Avengers. Probably not going to see the Avengers. Well, that's Avengers film. Well, probably I'm going to see them. I don't know. They just gotta fix all these problems. These are too much problems for one person to walk away sanity for each film. After a while, if you see each Avengers film, it's hard to keep a grasp of your sanity or keep a stable mind or a balanced mind. After a while, you're going to question reality, question your sanity, and question what's right and wrong, and question everything. And there's too many questions after seeing all these Marvel films in the MCU. There's just too many questions on reality or sanity that you're going to suffer by asking all these questions. The one thing that's a final absurd question is, what the fuck is going on in these Avengers movies outside of an Age of Ultron and counting Captain America Civil War as the Avengers film? That's the only question that's going to wait. If you like it, hate film, or somewhere in between, the only question you want to ask yourself is, what the fuck just happened to me? It's a mind fuck is what it is. Where reality and fantasy blend together in one smooth blender of a nutshell. Mind fuck. That's the power of MCU's Avengers. Not knowing what's real and what's right or what's wrong. Up and down, I don't know. Blah blah blah. And that's my thoughts on the MCU's Avengers and why I'm fucking tired of them. Bye.